me enough food to give her to you tomorrow. You are telling me you're not saying anything.
You're not communicating, you are communicated. I want to tell you what I will. They have the right to bring.
Hey guys, how you all doing? I hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you're new here, my name is Aladi and you're welcome to my channel. In my previous 2 videos, I noticed that some of you left comments that the audio was bad, that you couldn't hear me and all that stuff. Thank you so much for letting me know, and I have taken action. How about this audio? How do you like it? I figured out the issue and it has been resolved and everything is back to normal. Anyway, I promised you guys that I was going to be bringing the gist. So this one is about my trip to Nigeria, you know, getting my visa, hooray, and all that stuff. So I'm just going to be giving you guys a recap of everything that went down in Nigeria. Unfortunately, I was not really in the mood of vlogging. I did not specifically film for YouTube, but I have some clips and images on my phone that I took for my own personal documentation. But I'm going to be sharing some of that with you guys. So I'm just going to be inserting clips here and there. This is a long story, but let's start. You know how I mentioned in my previous video that I was not selected for the H-1B lottery and it was the last one, but something happened. This video is just gist. If you do not like gist, if you don't like personal stories, this is not for you, okay? We'll see you in another video, but if you just want to know, then stay and relax. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment. And if you have similar stories or anything, just share with us in the comment section. Let's get right into the video. After that January, this is just a continuation in case you didn't watch the last video, but I mentioned that I was not selected in the last lottery, which was 2023 March. I had this confidence, I had this faith that I was just going to get a H-1B visa, but I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen, you know, because my God comes through for me every time. And I know like my life has this pattern that I don't know if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing at this point, because it's not funny. I usually get things at the last minute. Remember my visa interview story that I've shared on this channel over and over again, how it never worked out the first time, the second time was the third time, and I was just going back to back. And when I got this visa, you know, school was just going to start the following week. Yeah. And when I landed the US, I landed like on a Thursday night or Friday night, and classes were going to start on Monday. So you can see how close it was. So even other things have happened the same way. So I was like, you know what? My F1 STEM OPT is going to expire January 2024. And I was not selected again. So what am I going to do? Like I mentioned in that previous video, if you've not watched it, I'll just put a link here at this point so that you can catch up whenever. I was like, okay, what are the options? What can I do? But deep down, I was like, there's a H-1B visa for me somewhere. But I still had to do other things. And you know the problem, when I was doing all those other things, trying to do this, I sat down one day, I was like, you know what? Because I was trying to get the Canada Express entry stuff. I submitted my application. That one is just for another day. I started the O1 process with my company. You know, there were a lot of things I started. I called one university for their day one CPT program. And I sat down one day, I was like, you know what? You're doing too much. For someone that said they trust God, you're doing too much. Why are you doing all these things? Because it was becoming overwhelming. So I just went down to my notebook. I wrote down every strategy in my head. I wrote it down and I was like, okay, what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages of this path and that path? I narrowed it down. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to channel my energy into this and this and this. I'm not going to pursue everything anymore. I'm just going to take a deep breath and just focus on certain things. I did that and it brought me so much peace. Like I was at peace. I started enjoying life again. The anxiety and everything just, because there was even at the point, because of all these things I was doing, I was so anxious. I called my mom, you know what, I'm packing my bags, I'm coming home, I'm tired. My mom was like, okay, just wait for your STEM OPT to finish and then you can now go home. Thanks, mom, for that advice. She was like, okay, I know you're overwhelmed. It's fine. You know, relax. Everything will be fine. But don't pull the plug before the expiry date of your STEM OPT. I was like, okay, mom, no problem. I'm going to take that advice and I'll just push through. And I was also navigating a change in my work, so that was also affecting me. The time difference, you know, between Australia and Salt Lake City, it was just a lot. So I think there was just so much going on. Well, my manager and I, we explored all the options and we were like working on each and every one of these options. Then we consulted with the lawyers, our company lawyers, and then I told them about the O1 and everything. We agreed how we're going to strategize and all that, blah blah blah, what we're going to do, only for them to come back at some point and tell me, my manager came back and told me that the lawyers say no, that we cannot move forward, that this case, blah blah blah. I was like, no, my own lawyer said they can handle this, so can we use my lawyer? I think I don't want to share too much in this video, but we did go back and forth, and then my manager just came back and just said, you know what, we're going on regardless. You know, you have my full support and we're going to do this. So we started the O1 process, started gathering our application. They opened a case file for me, started bringing all the documents, started all the writings, endless writings, you know, trying to prove, bringing this and that, documentations and all that. It was a lot. So while we were doing that, then, like I said, I still had it in me that I was going to get a H-1B visa. I told my friends, I called my close friends, and I'm like, yep, I'm going to get this. I don't know how, but there's this assurance that I'm going to get one. Literally, you know, last year was one of the years they had, I don't know, the highest number of applications in history. It was a lot. So nobody was thinking there was going to be a second lottery or something like that. But deep down, I was like, my God is a protocol breaker. He has broken so many protocols for me. So this one, he's gonna do it. He is gonna do it. And then what happened? Was it July? Sometime in July. Yeah, there was an announcement that there was going to be a second lottery. And the next day, boom, boom, boom. People started receiving emails, they were selected, blah, blah. I remember how I got the news. I was in this work meeting and my manager was there and he was like, Aladi, I have a good news for you. Or there was something, I have one news for you. I don't know how you said it, but guy, I knew what it was. I was celebrating already. People started telling me congratulations in that meeting. And then just after we dropped from that meeting, he called me and he was like, yeah, you guessed right. I got selected in that second lottery and it was so beautiful. I called all my friends, all my family members, my close friends. I told them, I shared the news with them. We were all dancing, jubilating. My mom was so happy. My dad, everyone was like, oh my God. You know, my mom was literally dancing. She was like, yeah, I told you, you know, patient. It was such a happy news. I know some of you were asking like how to bring up these conversations to your managers and all. I feel like this video will be too long if I start including everything, but I don't want to promise that I will bring another video specifically addressing that. But the thing is, you just have to, you know, go to your managers, talk to them. Me, when I joined this company, it's just a long story, but I always reminded my manager in our catch-ups about my visa, about immigration. It was not an entirely new conversation, so it was something I was always planting the idea, you know, planting it here and there till it was time. And thankfully, my manager was so understanding. Like I said in that video, I hired a lawyer, personal lawyer, you know, for myself, and that was how I just made everything. But back to the gist, guys, there's a lot of rambling going on, I know, but we just can't miss this because it's a very big part of the story. And you know one thing, since I moved here, I have packed a bag. There's a bag that I started packing, and I was like, this is my bag to Nigeria when I'm going to Nigeria. And I had it in me, I was like, 2023, that's the year I will go home. From the beginning of that year, I was like, I was going to go home. I don't know how, but I was going to go home. So I had my bag packed already, even with stuff that I wanted to give to my friends, my family. So when I got this visa, even before I got like selected, I was already in the process of packing my bags to Nigeria. I just had it that I was going to travel. So I was ready. So that was me being selected for H-1B. Then now your question will be, oh, why are you going to Nigeria? Do you really have to travel? No, you can remain in the US if you do not want to travel. There are two types of application for the H-1B. I think they have the consular processing and the change of status, which if you're already in another status and you're in the US, you can just change your status. You don't need to go out of the US. But if you do consular processing, to get that stamp, you have to travel out. Mine was the change of status, but like I said, I wanted to go home so bad, and I just used that opportunity to go out. I could have gone to Canada or UK or anywhere to get it stamped, but I told myself I can use one stone to kill two birds, go to Nigeria, see my family, get my visa stamped as well. And I'm going to make a special video dedicated to everything about the H-1B visa. I don't want this video to just be about it, though it's about it. But I'll just do a video detailing my visa interview experience and all that stuff, if that makes sense. And watch out for that video if you're very, very interested. After I got the selection, my company just put together my application and they submitted it, and I got approved. It was not even up to a month. My application was submitted in September, and October it was approved. It was not up to a month, literally. And once it was approved, my status changed. I mean, from October 1st, your status would automatically change if you get approved. But since we were like the late comers, things just fell into place. Anyway, after that, I just scheduled an appointment in Nigeria. I scheduled my visa appointment. I was like, yup, I'm going home. Found a date. In fact, getting dates for H-1B visa, L1, all those things, they're not even difficult. So I didn't tell you what happened to my O1 application. We abandoned it. We didn't submit anymore. We just stopped and just switched to the H-1B. Why do O1 when you have your H-1B? So I booked my interview appointment dates in Nigeria, and then I started looking for flights. I don't even know which one I did first, whether I got the flights first or I got the interview date first, or maybe interview dates first. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know in what order. But I made sure that even if I arrive, let's say I'm arriving in Nigeria on Monday or Tuesday, I gave myself some time. I didn't want it to be like Wednesday or Thursday. Like, I think my interview was Friday and I was supposed to arrive in Nigeria on Tuesday evening, something like that. I booked my tickets. Ticket was confirmed. I booked a one-way with Delta, and they had a connecting flight which was going to be in France, and then Air France would take me from France to Nigeria. That was the plan. One day, all of a sudden, I'm just checking my ticket and I see that they have changed the flight. It was supposed to just be one connecting flight, which will happen in France. But now I was seeing another, like a second connecting flight in Chad, and from Chad to Nigeria. I called them. I was like, guy, this is not the flight that I booked. Why did you guys change this without any notice, without anything? They were like, la, 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 la. I was like, I paid, because I saw a flight that was going to be two connecting flights, but it was cheaper. But I saw this one that was just one connecting, and I booked connecting flights, and I booked it just because of that. And now you guys just changed it. You didn't even tell me. So why did I pay extra $100 and something just to be on the flight that was just one connecting flight, and now you guys just changed it? They were like, nah. I was like, nope. It's either you put me on that flight or make it the way it was when I booked it, or you're going to refund me. Eventually, they refunded me part of like the fare difference between that flight that was supposed to be one connecting flight, and they just compensated for it. But can you imagine, like, they just literally changed it and never told me about it? I never got any email, nothing. They just did it only for me to find out. Anyway, we'll come back to that again. Let's just continue. Then I went shopping, started shopping again for my friends and family. It's been like almost 6 years. No, 5.5 years that I haven't seen them, so I had to do a lot of shopping. I had extra luggages and I had to pay. I paid, but it was all worth it, because there's no way I'm going to go to Nigeria without getting things for my loved ones. No. Especially after being away for so long, I was like, nope, there's no way I'm going to go home without buying things. It was worth it. The extra luggage paying for it was totally worth it. Then I was ready to travel out on the day of my trip. It was so exciting. I was stressed, but I was happy. You know, I was stressed because I had so many things. And then I was worried about my visa interview. I was like, what's going to go wrong? I don't know, blah, blah, blah. But I was really, really happy. And I did not tell my parents. I was going to surprise them. I only told them that I will be in Nigeria. I'll be in Nigeria. But when? They don't know. So they were trying to calculate, when is this girl coming? I only told one of my uncles. And he was the one we're doing all this plan with. And I told my sister too. And my childhood best friend. These were the three people that I told, and we were planning this thing together, this surprise together. All the flight food were coming, eating them. Some were good, some were not good. And then we got to France and then had the layover there.
Ou continuez votre voyage si vous êtes en correspondance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this shuttle. We are going to drive you to Terminal 2, where you will collect your luggage or carry on your trip if you are interested.
After a while, we departed from France and to Chad. So the Chad thing was supposed to be like a 1 hour layover there. Horror. It was the worst experience, my worst flight experience. We got to Chad. Okay, no problem. It's going to be a 1 hour, no plane change. Okay, cool. They got more passengers, and then that's where the horror started. We were in that plane for 6 hours. 1 hour or less than 1 hour turned to 6 hours seated in that plane. We could not move. We're cramped. People were getting agitated. It was horrible. Babies were crying. One woman that, was breastfeeding, she was just lamenting.
Food to give her. I don't have enough food to give her till tomorrow. You are telling me you have not seen anything.
Sur votre commandant, j'interviens un peu tardivement, je suis désolé.
I want to tell you what I will. They have the right to bring the police and they will walk everybody out.
My person who was supposed to pick me up in Abuja came. They were waiting. There was no even Wi-Fi. There was nothing. That was the point. Somebody roamed their phone. I was like, okay, I think at this point I have to do, because there's no communication. How are the people going to know? No internet. They disconnected the Wi-Fi. It was so bad. Oh my God. They treated us like animals. No. I can't. 6 hours, no explanation. It was when people started getting agitated. They now started explaining that this is bad. We no get, there was no regard for us. You could see there was no regard. But the most annoying thing, when I got back here, I called Delta Airline. They were like, no, it's our connecting flight. It's not our airline, it's another airline, but it's your partner airline. So how do I get compensated for this? I gave you my money, right? I was like, okay, no problem. You said it's not your fault, it's your partner airline. No apologies, no compensation, nothing. I called Air France only for them to tell me, you did not book with me. You booked with Delta Airline. You go solve your problems with that. Yes, I never got compensated as I speak. It was a bad experience, and I was so surprised. Like, Delta, I thought you could do better. And it was just annoying because up till now, nobody has reached out to compensate. No, nothing. Just 6 hours, blown away, feet cramped. Everything was it was terrible. I'm not going to focus too much on this, but it just makes me annoyed. Like, I'm so annoyed. I'm sure you can tell, but it's a happy video. Let's not spoil it. Let's not ruin it. Well, story for another day. Well, eventually we made it to Nigeria, and I feel so bad for the people that were waiting for me over there. My friend, God bless him. Thanks so much for coming to pick me up from the airport. It was amazing. I drove to my hotel. Luckily for me, my hotel was not too far from the airport. It was less than 30 minutes drive. We got to my hotel and then settled in. And my goal going to Nigeria was to also eat, when you have all that meal plan. Like, I want to eat this, I want to eat this, I want to eat that. Went to Abuja, enjoyed myself. It was beautiful. I was waiting for my visa dates, then the interview dates. I went there. I'm not going to talk about the details here, but I'll share another video. But it was successful. I got my visa. It was a bit, I was a bit tensed, you never know. But I got my visa and it was so beautiful. It's like, you come back so time. No. I spent some time in Abuja waiting and made sure I got my visa before leaving Abuja to where my parents live. My parents live in a different state. So, and remember, we're still planning the surprise. My sister flew into Abuja to meet me so that we could go home to surprise my parents. And then my uncle, he was on board. He lives in Abuja too. So all of us, we went together to storm my father's compound. And when we got there, my mom was just shouting, like, unfortunately, I can't post that clip. That's, some family moments there. But my mom she was so confused. She was like, He was like, she looked at my uncle. My best friend, I forgot to mention, my best friend also came to that city. She was waiting for us. And all of us went home. My mom just saw 4 different people, myself, my sister, my uncle, my childhood best friend, all of us. Like, how? She was like telling my uncle, so you allow these children to also plan this and you did not tell me? I was like, Mommy, that's why it's a surprise. We're not supposed to tell you. My father was speechless. Like, my siblings, one of them started crying. Oh. He was so emotional. I think I started crying too. But it was beautiful reuniting with my family after almost 6 years. So it was so beautiful. Like, it was the most beautiful thing ever. And while I was in Abuja, I was eating in my hotel. Today I was like, I want this soup, I want jollof rice, I want that Hollandia yogurt. Like, I was eating. My uncle suffered in my hands. Uncle, I want this one, I want this one. He took us for barbecue. We ate fish, we drank different. It was so good. Like, time with family is unmatched. I enjoyed it. I met my cousins that I've never seen in my life, in my entire life. I just knew they existed, but we had never met, so it was a good opportunity. One of them came from abroad too, so I met his siblings. Oh God, it was so nice meeting my older cousins, and it was so beautiful. Like, family is just beautiful. Another thing I experienced was when I went to Nigeria, my NIN. I did it here in US specifically. I did it in Minnesota. I went there and they're like, oh, it's not active. You have to do this. My BVN, even to get my account, I was not able to achieve that. I was like, you know what? It's okay. I can't do this. I just don't have the strength. So your NIN, make sure, I don't know what's the difference between it being active and not being activated. I thought it was good because I was able to get my international passport done in New York with that same NIN. So I don't know the details, but it's something you want to make sure yours is active before you get surprised, because I was not able to revive any of my Nigerian accounts because of the BVN and the NIN issue during the law of line. It was tiring. I was like, you know what, I give up. I tried like 2 or 3 times. I was like, I'm just not gonna do this, and that was how I let it slide. I was like, yep. So when I got home, my grandparents, they live in the village, so I told my mom, I need to see my grandparents. I can't come to Nigeria and not see these people. So we took a trip to surprise them. My grandma, she was just surprised. My grandfather, like, they were so happy. We hugged, did videos, took pictures. It was so nice being able to see them after such a long time. My grandma, like, I love that woman so much. Like, we're best friends. When I was growing up, literally, like, I was always with her. She's like, Aladi, oh mommy. Like, it was so beautiful to see her again. She's getting older, gray hair, all there, but she's aging well, so thank God. And my grandpa was so happy, got him some of his favorite drinks. He was really happy. He was like, oh, thank you. Oh my God, the family moment was so emotional. I also got my hair and nails done in Nigeria. The hair, that's the longest hair I've done in my entire life. For how much? I think 6,000 naira. Yeah, or 4,000 naira with the hair and everything. Even washed my hair. My friend washed her hair, did like an all, cornrows, and everything we spent like was 30k or maybe 36k with tip. I even gave them like 5k tip or something, you know. It felt so cheap, but then when I got home, they're like, it's not as cheap as you think. Services in Nigeria, it's kind of cheap. That's if you're earning in dollars. If you're not earning in dollars, then it's not really cheap. Don't go and spoil the services for the locals. Don't go and make the price too expensive, okay? Then my return trip was with Lufthansa. Had a much better experience. I'm not promoting any airline in this video, but that was my second time flying with them, and I think compared to the other guys, it has been the better one. I had a smooth flight and I got back to the US the day I was leaving Nigeria, the day I was leaving my father's house. Tears everywhere. I was crying. I was hugging everybody, a deep hug. Why life has to be like this, you know? It's okay, but thank God for the privilege to be able to go see my parents and to be able to leave the United States and come back again. So thank you guys for watching today's video. It's just a chill video, as you can already tell. So thank you so much. I appreciate you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. God bless you. Bye.